Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for August 22nd, 2022. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have two residents we're remembering tonight. The first is Walter F. Vogel. Sorry if I messed up that name. But Rick died peacefully in his sleep on August 12th. Following high school, he joined the Navy. He spent 37 years employed by the town of Abington in various capacities. He loved water and was an avid boater, water skier, fisherman, and created many wonderful memories with his family throughout the years. His family was his pride and joy. He will be greatly missed by his family and friends. And our other resident is Madri Chittim. Madri passed away on August 12th at 105 years old. She taught at the Center School in Abington for many years and was loved by many of her students and enjoyed listening to her enjoyed listening to her stories. She was considered by many to be their favorite teacher. She was a longtime resident of Abington and could frequently be found taking walks, always looking perfectly groomed and attired. Madri taught piano lessons and was a member of the Old Abington Historical Society. She will be greatly missed by her family and friends. Rest in peace, Midge. Thank you. Okay. Public announcements. Alex?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I just have a couple of quick public announcements. The first is I just want to wish, I hope everyone out in Abington had a wonderful and safe, happy summer. And to our students, our teachers, our faculty, and to our parents, I want to wish you a very safe, healthy, and happy new school year as you go back to school on August 31st. To our students, make sure you study hard and also have a lot of fun while doing it. So welcome back to school. Enjoy the last few days of summer, right? And the last, one of the other public announcements I have, just as a public reminder, the town of Abington is still in a step 4 water ban restriction since August 2nd, 2022. The Abington Rockland Joint Waterworks is experiencing a severe water shortage. Our reservoirs and groundwater supplies are critically low. All outside water usage is prohibited for all uses. Many communities, just like ours, are experiencing the same drought. So please help us conserve our drinking water for our fire protection and consumption. And with that being said, here are some helpful, friendly tips for saving water indoors. Turn off your water while brushing your teeth or shaving. Take shorter showers, 5 minutes or less, and use water-saving shower heads. Wash only full loads of laundry and dishes. Fix leaks. Dripping faucets and leaking toilets, pipes, and appliances can add up to hundreds of gallons of water lost per week. Create a kitchen compost bin create a kitchen compost bin instead of using a garbage disposal. Collect and reuse clean household water to water your plants if you want to water your plants in the garden or inside your house. With that being said, thank you for your cooperation and thank you for helping us conserve Abington's water in this desperate time. And lastly, I just want to mention, for those of you that are aware with the Jeff Coombs Foundation Road Race in Abington, it will now be the Abington Copes 5K, and it will be held on September 18th at 9 a.m. at the Woodsdale School in Abington. You can register online at racewire.com and find more information at Facebook Abington Copes. So I look forward to running in that race, Abington race, and I hope to see my fellow selectmen running in that as well.
Yeah, you don't want to see this one.
Well, with that being said, that's all I have for public announcements.
Thank you, Alex. Kevin?
Yes, early voting is upon us. For the September 6th state primary, the first choice you'll make is which day to vote. So early voting, you can early vote on Saturday, August 27th from 9 to 5 p.m. That's also the last day to register to vote for the state primary. August 29th through September 1st, you can vote between 8:30 and 4:30 p.m. And September 2nd, you can vote between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. It's to be held at the Town Offices Building at 500 Glenowitz Way, Abington, Mass. Voting is now more convenient than ever and on your schedule. Any questions, please call Leanne Adams, 781-982-2112, or you can email her at lmadams@abingtonma.gov.
Thank you. And Tim?
Just a quick thank you to the Abington Veterans Department and American Legion. On August 8th, they held a ceremony for the dedication of Abington becoming a Purple Heart town. It was a wonderful ceremony. I just wanted to go through the names of the Purple Heart recipients from Abington one more time for the people that couldn't be there that day. The living Purple Heart recipients, we have two, Rick Franey and Kurt Power. And John Beadle is honorable mention. He's not from Abington, but does a lot of work for the Abington Veterans Organization. Deceased Purple Heart recipients who did not die from their injuries include Herbert Bailey, Kyle Bombardier, William Cox, Walter Fitz, Melvin Libby, Charles Mason, Jack Murphy, Bill Ulwick, Richard Souza, and Purple Heart recipients from Abington who were killed in action, World War I, Edgar Bascom, Lloyd Crossman, Louis Dorsey, Robert English, John Mahoney, Charles Murphy, Charles Myers. World War II, Charles Bellows Jr., Wendell Chamberlain, Lloyd Clapp, Elton Ekstrom, Roy Helm, Wellington Jamison, John Keeley, Clifford Kimber, Richard McHugh, Harold McHugh, Harold Olson, John Plummer, Russell Pierce, John Rice, Frank Warner Jr. From Vietnam, Peter Christensen, Richard Glenowitz, Glenn Gordon, Ralph G. Hamlin Jr., Ernest Laidler, Richard Fitz, and from Afghanistan, Daniel Basilian. If anybody knows of any other recipients that weren't mentioned, please reach out to the VSO, Adam Gunn, as Adam's trying to compile a complete list. So if you didn't hear the name, please reach out to Adam. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have nothing. No public here, so there's no public comment. So could I have a motion to enter into executive session as on the agenda?
In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 3821, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining.
I was going to have them read that when they made the motion, but thank you.
And do them both at once,
Okay.
please.
Go ahead, Alex.
All right, I will make the motion to enter into executive session in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation of if an open meeting may have a determinal effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body and the chair so declares. And you said you want to do them together, correct?
Do both together, please.
Okay. And enter an executive session in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if the chair declares that an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the negotiating positions of the public body.
Second.
And a roll call vote, Alex.
And before that, just add that we're
yeah.
going to return to open.
Oh, yes, and we...
return to open session.
Yes.
Second.
Alex,
Aye.
Kevin,
Yes.
Tim,
Aye.
and the chair votes yes. All right, we're back live, thank you. The next item on our agenda is 6:40 PM, request for special event entertainment license, October 1st and 2nd, 2022, and a one-day liquor license for beer truck on October 1st for 50th anniversary of Sion Landscaping. Is the applicant here?
John Warner, representing Sion Landscape. The only thing I will say, that is a two-day, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, but is a liquor...
Yes, liquor.
One-day liquor license.
Oh, two, okay, I misread that on the application,
Oh,
I
first
thought.
and second.
You read it in the-
Potentially Saturday, 4-hour beer truck pending approval. So you want it for both days?
For both days, Saturday, Sunday, if possible.
And what times?
12 to 4,
12 to 4, Saturday and Sunday.
correct.
Anyone in the audience for this? No. Okay, anything from the board?
I just saw that one request from the chief was that you hire a detail
Yes.
officer.
Yep.
No problems with that.
Yeah, no problems at all.
That seems to be a change of policy from previous
Yeah.
chief who did not want details at these events. Yeah. But just a heads up, if people come and apply, let them know that they may be asked.
What in the event there's none available?
If
Because
it's,
there's been times when you can't get a detail, and there isn't any officers available.
Well, you might call the sheriff's department, and they could probably send someone. No?
They won't,
Abington?
if there's beer involved,
No?
unless they've changed their policy.
Yeah, they would,
But
If
we
that
will
does
work-
happen, just
we
have the
will
chief-
cross this
We'll-
bridge
we'll-
when it comes.
You know,
We'll reach out to
that
them.
won't be your problem.
Yeah, I'm
if
not
we can't.
anticipating that being a
Right,
problem.
yeah.
In the event that were to come up. I
we're
don't
not
want
gonna
that.
make it a part, I mean, I can't speak for the board, but as part of your license, we're not gonna put contingent on it, just you saying that you're
Right.
gonna do it's good for us.
Yeah, it's
So
not like it's a
if for some
blowout
reason
party,
you can't-
Yeah, and the chief will understand if you can't, I mean, obviously,
Okay.
you know. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the request for a one-day liquor license on October 1st and a one-day liquor license on October 2nd between the hours of 12 to 4 at Sion Landscape, 551 Bedford Street.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, good luck.
Hope to see you guys there.
We'll be there.
You will.
You had me at beer.
And congratulations on 50 years.
Thank you.
And John's been there the whole time. Okay, the next item is 6:45, request for common vic and entertainment license and to change the DBA from Ole Ole Katina to Teffy's Restaurant and Bar, 800 Brockton Ave. Joe Armstrong.
Is Joe Armstrong here?
Joe Armstrong?
Joe Armstrong? He was notified? I'm assuming.
Yep.
So what do we want to do?
I'll make a motion that we continue this, when's our next hearing, our next meeting?
It will be September 12th.
Make a motion that we continue it to September 12th. He is a businessman already in Abington, so I'll kind of give him the benefit on this one. They're not.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to be here because
Yeah,
this
there's
is,
some concerns.
this is the second time in a year, and
I'll second that.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Just a matter of discussion. I don't know. You want to let them know, Scott, when we let him know that he probably won't get that courtesy next time.
Okay, and it's 6:50, so we can go to the next one. Request for a one-day liquor license for Lions Club at Senior Center on August 30th. Is anyone here for that?
I think this is something that.
This is something.
We've done, yeah.
Yeah,
They
this
did
is-
get their certificate of insurance.
Right.
which they requested.
So this isn't a transfer of a license or anything like the previous one, so
This is something that the Lions Club is.
they've been doing this for years.
No,
so.
they currently have a liquor license, they just want to serve outside, and they have their tips certificate.
So in your packet, you'll see that Wayne Smith is requesting it to be served from 5:30 to 9:30 PM. And like you said, this is something they do every year, and they use the bartending service of New England. So, anyone here from the audience to discuss this? Seeing none, any discussion on the board?
I'll make a motion that we request a one-day liquor license for the that we approve a one-day liquor license for the Lions Club at the Abington Senior Center on August 30th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, vote to approve minutes, June 27th and July 11th.
Do we want to do them separately or together?
If there's no concerns with either one of them, you can do them together. If there's changes, do them separate.
After review, Mr. Chairman, I didn't see any issues, so I will
Okay.
make a motion to approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from June 27, 2022, and July 11th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Vote to,
Scott, I'm going to abstain from that.
oh, yeah, you weren't, he'll abstain from one. Vote to approve appointment of Chris Schultz as health agent. This is just reconfirming the town manager's appointment and the Board of Health's endorsement. So Chris is here if you have any questions. If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make the motion to approve appointment of Chris Schultz as Abington Health Director.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Request to appoint to Cable Advisory Committee, John Antanga. This is the advisory committee. This is not the Board of Directors of the ABCAM Corporation. This is the Cable Advisory Committee negotiates the contract for the town with Comcast and Verizon. And Comcast was just negotiated, so that's good for 10 years, and they are negotiating Verizon now. So is John Antanga here? Okay, it's been our practice that the applicants do not need to show up. So do I have a,
Make the
and he's the
motion.
only,
For
he's the only,
he is the
yeah,
only
yeah.
applicant.
And he was at the last meeting, I'm told, so.
Make the motion to appoint Joe Antanga to the Cable Advisory Committee.
All right,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so Joe just showed up, so what do we want to do?
I think that's here.
All right. If it's okay with everyone, we'll go back to Ole
Make a
Ole.
motion to reopen the hearing for Ole Cantina.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the hearing is opened. Joe, why don't you come up and tell us what you're doing?
I'd like to reopen as a DBA, changing the DBA to Teffy's Restaurant and Bar.
So you're going to be the owner?
Yes, I'll still be the owner.
So we transferred this license just a while ago to somebody else.
Nope, transfer didn't go through. Transfer, I had a potential buyer a while back ago, didn't work out. They did apply, but didn't go through.
It would have to, it has to be approved by ABC. for
Yeah,
us.
but this
Yeah.
board approved it.
This board
but it
approved
didn't
it.
approve-
Yeah, I
okay,
still have my
all right,
license.
Yeah, okay. So it was never completed by the
Correct.
state? Okay.
Gotcha.
So you're just changing your name?
DBA, yes.
Okay.
Still under the New England Restaurants LLC.
Are you currently open?
No,
When do you plan on opening?
probably hopefully by the 1st. if approved tonight, you know what I mean? I still have, I met with the inspector today, I still have a few other things I have to finish up over there, and we're gonna do a final inspection before opening.
Okay.
Do you have a date scheduled for that final inspection?
Not yet. As soon as I get what I need done over there, I'm giving him a call. Chris from the Board of Health has to come in and do his final inspection as well.
The stovetop exhaust needs to be cleaned. Do you have a date that that's being done?
Exhaust was cleaned
It
yesterday.
was done yesterday. And
So
the
I'm waiting on the fire
extinguishers?
extinguishers to be updated and whatnot. And,
Do you have a date scheduled on when they're going to?
I do not. I'm waiting for the gentleman to contact me back from Lions and East Coast Fire as well.
And what's the service that needs to be done on the rear door?
On the rear door, we need one that needs a push bar, and then we need to put up 2 signs that the doors will be unlocked while occupied.
Do you have that scheduled? I know the signs you just put up yourself.
I just found out today.
The crash bar.
Yeah, the crash bar, that's what it
Yeah,
is,
so
push
you,
bar.
do you have that scheduled to be done?
Not
or-
yet, I was just told today, so I'm looking for one tomorrow.
My opinion, it seems pretty aggressive to have it all done and inspected by the 1st, which is less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd be comfortable on approving with all these open things tonight. I would be comfortable with putting the meeting into recess until the 12th.
until the 12th?
That's our next meeting.
All right.
I would hate to say, hey,
That's
you're going
fine.
to lose 12 days of business, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you're going to get this done by the
Yeah.
1st anyway.
It's good times. No, that's perfectly fine. Gives me a
So I'm
little,
not speaking for the board, but that's just my thoughts as of right now. I'll
Yeah.
let them ask any questions they have.
gives me a little bit of time instead of running around.
I just want to make sure it's done right and inspected right.
Exactly, I agree.
Sure.
Is, you want to make a motion to?
I just
I'd
didn't want to
echo
hog
what
the
Tim
mic.
said, yeah.
So,
Yeah, okay. So if that's all right with you, Joe, we'll entertain a motion to continue this hearing until the 12th
Okay.
of
As
September.
for the vehicular license and whatnot?
Yeah,
everything else looked okay. I mean, I'm not speaking for the board, I'm speaking for myself right
Yeah.
now, but everything else looked okay. So I'm thinking if you get all these and the building inspector and the health department give us a thumbs up, you'll be fine on the 12th and good.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You'd probably be able to open as soon as that was.
Good times.
Yeah.
all right,
Plus, we still have a little bit more work to do over there, you
Okay.
know, interior-wise.
all right.
Excellent.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
So a motion and a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll see you on the 12th, okay?
Sounds good, thank you,
Same
guys.
time,
Thank you, Joe.
okay? All right. Request rate increase for the zoning board of appeal.
What do we want to go to from? Looks like, isn't it my packet?
It's in number 6 in your packet.
Thank you.
Fee schedule.
Do we,
So the first page is the current schedule? Yes, and the second page would be the increase. And,
This work was done, you know, by the department. They did look at other towns in the surrounding areas to make sure that our fees were comparable.
well, out of curiosity, when was the last time our fees were updated?
So
I
believe
don't-
she said 2016.
yeah, I was gonna say, it's been quite a while.
Sean, you might remember.
I personally, I think they look reasonable.
I think 100% increase is not reasonable,
That's cool.
but that's just my opinion.
Well, compared to other towns, I mean, that's,
What other towns is this compared to?
They would have used Rockland, Whitman.
95.
Probably not Wayne, I know that she said
Was that-
Rockland, Whitman, guessing Holbrook.
Okay, I'm just wondering, just out of curiosity, because I know the Conservation Commission had looked at raising their fees just because of years, needed to be updated, and especially with the cost, the rise of inflation. Let me see.
And the idea of, you know, raising the fees, and when we do a review of the fees, it's not necessarily that we're looking to increase any revenue. It's more that we're looking to recoup the cost. It's basically, it is a user fee. The person who's applying and paying the associated expenses that go along with it.
What's your pleasure, Board?
Mr. Chairman, have a comment?
Sure.
Hi, Sean Riley, office at 500 Washington Street. I wasn't here for this issue, but I just had 2 points. I know the zoning board was comparing this with a lot of things, so I'm not really here to talk about the dollars. Although I would point out the special permit in the floodplain, I think the new charge is $200. That one is, that affects about half the property in town. If you want to do any work on your property in this floodplain, if there's anyone that you wanted to lower, that might be one to consider. But the real reason I wanted to speak was, if you take a vote to adopt any new fees, if you could just make clear when they take effect, because these fees are actually up on the website, and I just filed an application pursuant to the new fees. I thought they already were effective, so I'd love to get some money back from my client, but if you could say they're effective as of October 1st or whatever, so that people are on notice when they file, that's all. Thanks.
I also don't like the price increase on the appeals. It's almost like trying to get people not to file appeals, in my opinion, going from 50 to 200 bucks.
Would you like to make a motion? Would you like to make some changes with suggestions? Or would you like to table this and do some more research? Find out what towns they did compare it to.
Yeah, I think,
I'm wondering if this brings us up to, I'm gonna keep thinking.
I think we should table it and get some more information.
yeah.
Make a motion to table to September 12th?
Take a motion to table this until September 12th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. If you could get us some background information on that by September 12th.
I will pass that information along.
Thank you.
So with that being said, we would have to update the website, because then these aren't it.
We'll have the website updated tomorrow morning back to the original pricing.
Actually, I wasn't aware that they had already changed it.
Yeah.
Kinda
Yeah, I'd like to see
surprised
that
they
not
did.
happen again either.
Yeah.
Appointment to Plymouth County Advisory Board. As all of you know, that I am currently a representative on the Plymouth County Advisory Board, and I do not wish to be reappointed. So if someone has a motion for another member. And just for the audience and at home, the Plymouth County Advisory Board is made up of 27 members, one select person or counselor from each of the 27 communities of Plymouth County. And the advisory board votes on the budget as well as other things. And it's, Abington's vote is our percentage of population or assessment, I believe, of the town. It's a prorated vote that we actually get. So anyway, I've been on for several years, and I'm not looking to be reappointed, so if someone would like to make a motion for someone else?
I'll make a motion to appoint Kevin Damasio to the Plymouth County Advisory Board.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any other nominations? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay, moving on. Special municipal employee status for Conservation Commission.
Evening, everybody.
How you doing?
My name is Tim Warner, 3 Fairview Ave. I am the Vice Chairman of the Abington Conservation Commission. Thank you for taking the time tonight to hear my request for special municipal status for the Abington Conservation Commission. I'd like to formally request that the status of the Abington Conservation Commission be changed from municipal employee status to special municipal employees. In my position as Vice Chairman, I regularly conduct site visits during business hours. I meet with applicants and other town officials regarding current and upcoming conservation matters. I also have the ability to read and decipher applicant plans, applications, and correspondence. I regularly meet with our peer review engineers as well as our applicants' engineers to discuss flagging locations, et cetera, in the field. I am also self-employed, which allows me to have the flexibility needed to better serve the town of Abington and the Abington Conservation Commission. I am a contractor here in town. I am requesting the special municipal status to allow me to better serve the town of Abington and its residents. We currently offer water and sewer services for Abington businesses and residents. We also offer municipal plowing for the Abington DPW, as well as many services for the school department. I would like to continue to serve the town of Abington and its residents moving forward. I appreciate your consideration for my request to designate the Abington Conservation Commission as special municipal employees. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. So as most of you, well, all of you know that we are not allowed to appoint a person, so we would designate the entire board, no matter who the members are of the board. And if that's the pleasure of the board, anyone in the audience here to speak on this? No. If that's the pleasure of the board, or if you have questions.
Is anyone else here from the Conservation Commission to speak
Yes,
on
the
that?
chairman is here.
Good evening, Paul Bunker, 19 Peregrine Road, Chairman of Abington Conservation. I have no problem with accepting this if you guys vote yes. It's a matter of losing Tim from the board. He's a valuable asset. Like he said, he does regular site visits. Whatever's asked of him, he does. So to lose him would be a detriment to the board, in my opinion.
Just to clarify, this doesn't exempt them from any ethics laws. They still have to follow.
No,
the same laws.
absolutely not.
Just an added layer of protection.
Exactly.
I'll vote to approve special employee status for Conservation Commission.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
How many members are on the board, on the commission?
7.
7 voting and 1 associate.
So we give the voting and the associate?
Everyone.
All, so 8?
Yep.
Okay.
There are other boards, I believe the zoning board.
There's quite a few. I think the
There's quite a few now.
Yeah,
This is
yeah, so there's a lot of them that are. And I'm not sure why conservation wasn't. I mean, I thought they were when you actually reached out to us. So there is a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
4-1.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Update with Alex Mazin on Bud's Emporium.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just for the record, clarify, it's Bud's Goods and Provisions,
Oh, okay.
but not a big deal. I'm the CEO and founder of Bud's Goods, located at 1540 Bedford Street. We run, Bud's Goods is an adult-use cannabis retailer, first one and only one at the moment in Abington. We recently just had our 1-year anniversary, so I was asked to kind of just come in and give an update on the status, but I think I'll speak about the company and maybe the industry to give everyone some quick insights. I won't take up too much time. Bud's Goods is doing great. Hopefully you don't hear much about us because we're not an issue in town. That's really what we strive to do. I'd rather just be mute and no one talks about us, which is great. Things are running really smoothly. We have our core team. Our management team now is really stabilized over the last 8 months. We employ almost 25 people at the store. You may be asking how many of them are Abington employees. I would say about 6 or 7 of them, but most of them are Weymouth, Rockland, Whitman, all of those towns combined that make up employment. We just recently wrote our first host community agreement check. I believe it was in the sum of about $280,000. I really am really happy with the store and how it's performing. And how smooth of the operations are, and I think we've been really receptive to try to work and make sure we're adapting to the community needs and all of those things. So that's the status of the store, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may want to know specifically. I haven't seen any of you in there, so I'm still
You just
waiting.
weren't there.
But in terms of, I think it's important to understand where we are today with the industry versus where we were just a few years ago, talking about this and the concerns it may bring and the parking situation and all the components of think we all may have felt as a society and the concerns. Hopefully you don't hear any of those things nowadays and it's sort of kind of boring on the wayside. I think Healy just announced and publicly made a statement that she felt she had misjudged the whole industry, and that was just in recent Globe last week. Please look that up if you want to quote that. But the state of the industry is actually pretty rocky right now. There's now over 215 stores in the state of Massachusetts. Sales in Massachusetts have not grown since February of this year on a statewide basis. Bud's Goods has not seen growth either since February. So I think that's important to note that the pie doesn't continue to grow at this current moment across the state. I think pricing is starting to be compressed very aggressively in our state as a lot of cultivators come online. We have a robust oversupply of cannabis now in our market, and it's pretty significant. 1 year ago, prices were roughly about $3,200 to $3,400 a pound. Today, we're buying less than $2,000 with less than 12 months, and I see that number tanking another 50% over the next 3 to 4 months. It's rapidly decreasing just because of the oversupply in our market. I think also another large driver is the impact of inflation and what it has on our market is significantly larger than what it has on any other market because of the legacy or illicit market that we have to compete with. So people don't turn to the underground beef market or dairy market or any of those things, but in our market they definitely do. So if you're needing to cut costs, that's probably one immediate area. And so with the rise of inflation, the rise of competition, the rise of supply in the market, obviously driving the pricing downward, it's caused a lot of stress in our industry and will continue to. I'm very fortunate that I'm a freestanding retailer today and not worried about the price compression that cultivators are starting to feel or product manufacturers are starting to feel. So happy to answer any questions, but that's kind of a quick update on Bud's Goods in Abington and the state of the industry. There was recently a bill that was just signed by the governor last week that really gets into a lot more around host community agreements and taxation, but that's more for the operational side. But I think it is important for the board to be aware that there are new rules and regulations in place around the HCA, which I'm still waiting for my attorneys to wrap their mind around and let me know its direct impact, but just something to be aware
Yeah.
of.
Okay.
So.
Any questions?
No questions.
All right.
No, and I'd like to say on our behalf that Alex and Bud has been a great partner.
Thank you.
To work with, been very responsive to any
We haven't heard of any complaints.
issues. Actually, there's never been issues, but certainly anytime I've had requests to get some insider information, it's been really good about helping out, so I appreciate it. And I believe you made a nice donation to our food pantry,
Yes,
which was
Yeah.
great and at a time when they certainly need it.
so.
Thank you very much. Keep
Well,
up
thank
the
you,
good work.
everybody,
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you.
Next item is discussion and possible vote to approve retail license and host community agreement with Elevated Roots LLC for retail delivery, cultivation, and marijuana products at 1423 Bedford Street. And I will turn this over to Mike and just me. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, how are you? Peter D'Agostino here on behalf of Elevated Roots. Joining me is Barzal Khan, who's one of the owners of Elevated Roots. As the agenda item says, we're before the board in seeking a host community agreement with the town for a couple of different business operations related to the cannabis industry. I think maybe a good place to start, if it's okay, is just a little bit of background on Elevated Roots. Okay. So Elevated Roots is currently in Kingston, Mass. They opened April 7th of what year is it now? 2021. So you lose a year because of COVID. So whenever you say last year, it was really 2 years ago. So they opened in 2021, about over 18 months ago, or almost 18 months now. Things are going very well. That is also a co-located facility. So they have retail, cultivation, and manufacturing out of that facility. The cultivation and manufacturing specifically is just about complete construction, so about 60 days that facility will be done. As I mentioned, the store was open for about almost 18 months now. They have a second retail location in Halifax. That store is going through its final licensing now. They've already been completed everything with the town. The construction's complete, and they're going through the CCC process. So this would be their third store. They're looking to do something similar here, but on a much smaller scale than Kingston with the co-located facility. So in Kingston has been a great relationship for us with the town. It's been a good partnership. We worked with the town for years. The town went through some zoning changes that we followed along with and were part of during that time. Halifax, much the same way, has gone through some zoning changes that we have lived through over the course of the last year, and we're really looking to find our final store, and we're hoping that to be in Abington. So happy to answer any questions related to the background of the company or what the proposed operation is here. I can certainly speak to any of the industry questions that Alex had raised from Buds, which I thought did a great job talking about that. So we're happy to talk about that as well.
Why don't you just briefly touch on what your plans are here?
Okay, great. So at 1423 Bedford Street, we're looking to initially do a retail storefront, 3,000 square feet in that building. And that would be really phase one of the operation. And much like we did in Kingston, we opened the retail store, we established the business, made sure everything was working both for us and for the town. And then we really went on to the next phase, which was the cultivation and manufacturing, which is what we would hope to do here as well. So it would really be a multi-phased approach with the retail store coming first. And then the cultivation manufacturing, we're hoping to add on delivery from this facility as well. So it's really, it's probably a multi-year process for us. It's not something that happens all at once. The host community agreement in this community really is the first step in that process, which would allow us to continue with permitting and licensing. And as you all know, you have been through it successfully with another business, so it is time-consuming and takes some time to get operational. But that's the general plan, is a phased approach to opening these different operations.
And Scott, remind me, how many are allowed here in town, and how many currently? Just one?
5, right? 5.
We have 5, and
So,
we have 5 retail,
yep.
and we do have 1, so the 5 retail would be Buds, NAP, Nashmac, Elevated Roots, if so granted, and then Green Harbor. And then for delivery, Elevated Roots would be delivery, and Bean Collective is just a delivery only, not retail. And then cultivation, NAP, Nashmac, and if Elevated Roots.
So does this,
So the retail part, that we have 5 retail available, we have 1 left, and that would be if we agree to this.
okay.
Or
Would
if
you be
were-
taking up the entire building or just one storefront?
Not initially. So initially, it's just the 3,000 square feet, and the expansion plan would be to expand within that same building.
What's closed in now? What are you going into? What part of the building?
On the left side of the building, if you're looking at it from the street,
Like
I
a
think it used to be
CrossFit there?
CrossFit.
Okay.
correct.
And then, I don't know if I missed it, but Elevated Roots in Kingston, do you have delivery from there now?
No, that's an adult use only store right now. So it's cultivation, manufacturing, and retail, with the retail being fully operational and the cultivation and manufacturing construction is about 60 days from being completed.
So, okay, so you haven't done delivery yet. This would be your first.
Correct. There's only one delivery operator in the state right now operating the licensing. They were approved their commenced operation April 1st. So the delivery in Massachusetts as many things, took a while for the state to kind of get in place and how they were going to do the program. It was really finalized in the regulations that were published in January of 2020, and then they had to create a portal for people to apply and so on and so forth, so as the process goes. So the first one got its commenced operations April of this year. So it's a very new process for the state on the adult use side. However, in the Commonwealth, medical marijuana facilities have been delivering since their inception. So the state went out with the ability to deliver to patients, to provide patient access to medicine. So for people who had accessibility issues or mobility issues that couldn't get to a store, it allowed for those medical marijuana facilities to deliver. So the state, as an industry, including medical, has been delivering since its inception, but on the adult use side, direct to consumers, it just started in April in that particular line of business.
And how would that work as far as related to elevated routes? Would you be hiring the drivers, or would it be like a service coming in to pick up and deliver?
That's a great question. That's a really good question, actually. So there's two types of delivery models here in Massachusetts. One is called the courier license, and one is called the delivery operator license. The courier license is an Uber Eats, if you're familiar with that. So I call Bob's Sub Shop, and Sally goes and picks it up from Bob's and brings it to my house. But my business is with Bob's, and there's just a person in between delivering it. So that's the courier model. We're proposing a delivery operator model here. So the way that works is it's the Amazon model. So if you think of Amazon, they house multiple different vendors, whoever you can think of. We all know who Amazon has. So in their warehouse, they have all these different vendors, and then I just call Amazon to place my order, and they deliver that vendor to me. So just to equate it to something we're all pretty familiar with. So this would be the delivery operator model, where we would warehouse product in the facility, and then consumers would order it from our website, and then we deliver direct to consumer.
Okay, and that would be coming all out of this facility in
Correct,
Abington?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Do we have the application and the host community agreement in our packets?
No, well, there is no application, it's just a request. The request is to enter into the host community agreement. So they've agreed to all of our typical host community agreements that we've used, but I've got them with KP Law now because, as you heard earlier, the governor signed some new regulations that'll probably change some of the things that are in that host community agreement, as well as things that are in past.
So no application for...
We'd never, not for any of them, there's not an application form. It just starts as typically an email request.
And then the host community agreement covers all that. So we're not approving the host community agreement tonight?
We're just approving, you're just authorizing me to enter into it with them, kind of like we did with the last ones, right?
Yeah, it was the wording on the agenda. It's saying to approve it, so.
Okay.
We're authorizing you to enter into host community agreement discussions.
Yep.
It hasn't been done yet.
Correct.
Okay. I
Yep.
thought I was being...
Yeah, and just to give you an idea, like as Alex had said earlier, and some of the things we've touched on, is the language regarding the ability to have that extra 3%. You can't put it in as a percentage anymore, and you have to. And all along, we're supposed to track costs associated with that. There is that 3% tax that we do get that's quarterly, that happens automatically. So this would be that extra, as Alex had said, wrote a check for $287. That is not likely to be part of the new agreements. It just, the new regulations won't allow that.
So the people of Massachusetts voted for a certain bill, and now they're changing it all after it was approved?
It's one way to put it.
So would you expect a lot of delivery or, shipments in and out of there?
The delivery's fairly localized, so it'd be more of a local area. You don't really see these deliveries going far and wide like you would, maybe Amazon wasn't a good example in that way. So it'd be more localized. So we don't think it would be overly substantial, but we think it's a good area to do it in.
And would this be supplying your Halifax store in Kingston, or?
The cultivation, do you mean?
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah, but we have the cultivation in Kingston already, so we wouldn't probably supply that store, but collectively, the two cultivations could supply Halifax. Halifax is just a retail.
That's an old bank, right, in Halifax? Is that
Yeah, you did your research, good job. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you're right.
Anything further? Anyone? No? I have no questions. So we want a motion on this?
Yeah, please.
Make a motion to allow the town manager to enter into negotiations for a host community agreement with, I'm sorry, what was the name of the business?
Elevated
Roots LLC. Thank you.
Yeah. There's a couple of different entity names because of licensing structure, so I don't know if that affects your motion. We put those into the agreement that we sent over to the town manager.
And I heard a second from Kevin. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Oppose? Ayes have it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that you guys have abstained from going in there.
So isn't my wife, he texted.
Kevin wears glasses and a top hat.
And a monocle?
I had to grow the beard.
Okay, so, number 11, vote to authorize Treasurer Collector Lindsey Graso to be the certifying authority for the sewer force main project.
Yeah, so as you guys probably remember, we did several votes, and this will come up quite often over when we're bonding things. That you have to vote for the treasurer collector to be the certifying authority. We did this for Sonia in the past for this particular project, and there's still, bits and pieces of this that you'll see another round of funding, probably the final round of funding for this at the special town meeting also. But it's just, authorizing her to, as the treasurer collector, to sign off on the bonding.
I'll make a motion to authorize Treasurer Collector Lindsey Graso to be certifying authority for the sewer force main project.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Discussion and possible vote to adopt purchase card policy and authorize purchase card for specific department heads. Scott will explain this to you.
It should be, I'm assuming it was in the back of your packet, but quite often, whether it's myself, the police chief, fire chief, DPW director, IT director, town accountant, or treasurer collector, we may be purchasing some sort of a supply, equipment, education or training. And the current way that we have to do this, if it's not some vendor that we have something set up with, is we use our own credit cards and then ask for reimbursement. This is the preferred way to do it, is to have a town authorized card. As you can see, there's only certain department heads that will get it with certain limits. It comes right out of the our account, our budgets, our individual department budgets at the end of the month. By using the card and selecting the proper card, we get the card discount favors the town, the 3% cashback discounts or whatever. But, these are like things like going to the MMA or booking the MMA, stuff like that would be something that you would use this for.
I don't see the amount for selectmen on here. Could you point that out to me?
I'd be happy to book your...
Ours is unlimited? What?
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, this is a policy, this is kind of the standard policy that we found that other towns had adopted, that we would
So
give...
this is something you can do on your own as town manager. We're just approving the policy.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Is there more than this, or is this just the policy and procedure?
That's it, just the policy.
All right, it said policies, so I was curious. Is this, gone through council and everything already, reviewed this, or?
We didn't run it through council, this is something,
I don't
it's
think
kind
we
of
need
cut
counsel
and
for
dry.
this.
I mean, if it's just department heads that are listed here, it's not,
Yep,
Just
at
like-
this point, those are the only ones that we would,
is there anyone else that could use this card, like a second in command? There's
I
nothing
think within the
language in here?
policy, it says that if the chief wants to give it to the deputy chief, or, if John Stone said, hey, take
they
this
could
and
just-
go get us tractor parts,
Tractor parts, that's the best we could come up with.
Already seeing
Lines.
problems, just for the record.
I don't
Out of
know.
curiosity, how did we come down to these specific department heads? Or is it just similar to what you were looking at for other?
No, well, these are the ones that we think right now, and it may be others in the near future, but as we want to walk before we run, but these are just sort of the top department heads that we know have run into this issue.
Okay. How did you come up with these amounts? I mean,
It's just a starting point. It wasn't really any, I think I kind of, at least on my end, it's what the ICMA might be, or what the MMA would be, or, there's very little equipment that I actually purchase. It would be things like that. The IT, if he had to go out and buy a laptop in an emergency type of thing.
I think it's good in theory, I think it needs some work. I think it needs, needs to have some more definitions in there. I think it needs some more language.
To go off of what Kevin was saying, just looking at, just for penalty of wrongful use, is there anything, any additional information that we could have?
Action up to and including dismissal isn't enough?
No, I'm saying, well,
Flogging in the town square.
What are you looking for?
what do we do?
These are
Returning of the money, I
these are the department heads that we've already entrusted with your police department, your fire department,
They have
your
control over the
town.
budget. It's just
Yeah.
instead of writing a paper check, they're entering
Yeah,
numbers.
these are
we all do
purchases that
online.
we're going to make and ask to be
I
reimbursed
don't
for.
see penalty of wrongful use happening anytime soon, but.
But we do have a pretty severe penalty there if they do.
Yeah.
So, which we would probably pursue in any case.
And you're going to oversee the policy?
I believe I am.
Yeah. I just said, is it stated in here? You're you're the one that's going to be doing you're gonna oversee it and give out all this discipline, and you're gonna be monitoring this, or is somebody else
The accounting and treasurer collector's office will be obviously,
who have one of these credit cards is gonna be overseeing it?
and again, they have the ability to purchase this stuff without a credit card now and put in for reimbursement.
But they shouldn't be using their own.
Yeah, and it's not something that happens all the time. I think it's rarer occasions. Again, mostly on certain departments, really just for training, education, occasional piece of equipment.
Talking about limits temporarily raised at the discretion of the town manager to complete crucial purchases,
Yeah, if, say, Wayne was to come to me and say, look, we actually need 3 MacBooks tomorrow for something, or 5 iPads. I was supposed to get them for Monday night. And I have to up the limit, I would have that ability to say, yeah, all right, go ahead and take care of that.
Scott, who are the other municipalities who have this policy in place?
And I would say this came from Hanover. And Whitman just instituted one.
Did Duxbury have one?
No, we didn't have one in Duxbury, unless they've started it since I left.
has this been a big push recently to get these? Is that why,
No, like I said, I know Hanover, it's come up recently with things like training over at the police department and sending guys away for training, and how do you pay for it?
There's
Because not
no-
everybody takes a voucher from the town or takes a purchase order.
but there's no mechanism now for them to do that?
They can use their own credit card and they can get reimbursed for it.
And has there been complaints or issues with it?
Yeah, most, people don't want to use their own credit card and wait to
Yeah,
get
fair enough.
reimbursed for it.
Has there been a lot of issues with it?
Problems? No,
No?
no.
And these are the two attachments to the policy? The agreement and the missing receipt? This wouldn't take place of actual, any other mechanism other than just in a dire emergency where we need to get an
This would
Apple
be for
iPad.
that rare occasion where, you know, more often than not, we try to buy stuff off of a bid list anyways, or larger purchases we have to
Well, just, yeah,
follow a procurement on, and then there's a bidder, a vendor. This is for those times when that's just, we're buying something, and the only way to get it is to have
yeah,
a
pay
credit
top
card.
dollar and get it overnight, right?
Not necessarily
I mean,
pay
we still
top
gonna-
dollar.
I run into this all the time at my work, and when I first started, it was use your own card and get reimbursed. And
Which is-
eventually, it stunk. It's just terrible.
I mean, there's, you know, certain times, and the other part of it, and the only, I think, the benefit to the town beyond it is also that reward points or purchase, you know, like I said, I think the card was 3% savings or
Cashback type.
cash back, whatever they call it. So, you know, that's something that the town would get the benefit of as opposed to employees on their own card.
Don't tell my boss that part.
So we could use those points for MMA events and stuff
Well,
like
you
that?
probably would book the whole travel
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the card.
Yeah.
Or,
No, I think,
So this is
I
interesting
think we
that
need to do it.
the department head, I mean, responsible, they're going to be working with the vendors on any erroneous charges, including sales tax, disputed items, or returns. So this is putting everything onto the department head.
they're going to have to, yeah, if they're going to
And then
use
coming
it,
to you,
they're going to
or
have to track it
you
if there's an
overseeing it if
issue.
there's an issue.
Yeah.
But you are the clear-cut person that's going to oversee this, and the treasurer,
Yeah,
collector.
I mean,
who also has
ultimately, at the end of the
is going
day,
to
the
be overseeing
report,
themselves.
I think, you know, I'll get a report from, whether it's monthly or quarterly from the accounting department, and just to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and it's getting paid properly, and
Could I-
there's nothing that seems out of place.
Could I suggest that you do it on a monthly basis, starting off?
Oh, sure.
For a couple of weeks?
Yeah, and
I'm
to be
sorry,
quite
a
honest
couple
with
of
you,
months, and then-
yeah, absolutely, but I don't honestly expect
Right.
that there's that much
No, I
usage that's
understand,
gonna happen,
yeah.
but
But just starting off, I think it'd be good to see the numbers almost live, but not, you know.
Hmm.
And then over time, I think quarterly.
the card that we're working with Bank of America actually even, I think will sync up with our accounting software, that it makes it very easy for me to track.
Okay.
And track to the line items.
Okay.
That they should be coming out of.
I mean, I'm used to seeing policy and procedure that's a lot longer than just 2 pages, especially for this type of thing. And I understand, you know, coming into the ages here and stuff, but my just concerns are adding some more detail to this, some more oversight. I mean, maybe adding in some definitions and expanding on this a little bit.
I'll make a motion to approve the the purchase card policies and procedures as presented by the town manager.
And I will second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have
No.
it. Oh, okay. One no.
It was two no's.
Oh, 2 no's. Okay. 3-2. And for some reason, I lost my second half of the agenda.
Well, you can look up the
Right here on
Well,
the big
scroll.
screen.
Yeah, well, it's not there yet. Please scroll.
Oh, yeah, someone has to scroll.
There you go.
How did I?
Okay, number 13, discussion and possible vote to call for a special town meeting to be held on September 27th at 7 PM, located at the Abington High School Auditorium, and to open the warrant for the same, and the warrant shall be closed on September 12th.
Okay, yeah, and really, it's not a lot of heavy lifting on this particular special. The town accountant has requested that we do it mostly to take care of some housekeeping matters. There is, the state aid that we got was about $50,000 more than anticipated. There was the the revenue that we received, or not revenue, but the monies received from Bud's goods and provisions. And we need to make some adjustments to the budget for the building department. We finally hired a new building commissioner and have restructured some things over there, so we want to just make sure that that budget is appropriate for their needs. We have some property that this board and the Conservation Commission had approved to put into a conservation restriction, but will need town meeting approval, Diane Circle being one of them, and hopefully a couple of other properties that we'll do at the same time. So I do request that you do approve this. And we'll open the warrant.
What's the rationale behind going to a Tuesday night instead of our traditional Mondays?
It was more to do with the today,
timing
yeah,
of
the timing
when we could
of when we
vote for it.
close this warrant on September 12th to have the proper amount of days for notice.
I'll make a motion to call for a special town meeting to be held on September 27th at 7 PM located at Abington High School Auditorium, and to open the warrant for the same. Said warrant to be closed on September 12th.
Second.
Well, we'll have to revote the last part, right? The closing of the warrant?
Yes.
So
on
that shouldn't be
September
part of
12th,
this
but
motion.
I just wanted to give notice.
That's fine, so I'll end my motion after to open the warrant for the same.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Unanimous. Do we need another vote not to close the warrant on
No, 'cause
September 12th?
on the 12th, we'll vote it.
On the 12th, we
Right,
vote
we
that,
don't have to
yes.
do anything. I want people to know that that's
Right.
the date, and if they want to get anything into us,
The warrant is now open.
the warrant is now open, correct?
So the next item is discussion and possible vote to reduce the quorum required by Mass General Law, Section 152-4, of 150 persons for a special town meeting to 75 persons for the September 27th, 2022 special town meeting as allowed by
Legislation.
legislation.
I meant to stop that somewhere.
Mr. Moderator, would you like to say anything on this? Okay. We are still allowed to do this, and we have done this for the last few town meetings.
I actually have a question for Chris, if you don't mind. I'm sorry, if you don't mind, just come to the microphone for me so they can hear. Does the health department have any concerns about us holding this special town meeting?
No, we don't.
Any concerns about attendance or having too many people?
No, I mean, I hate to be that guy, but there's still a pandemic going on. However, the current, the current guidance from both CDC and DPH, they've just thrown up their hands at this point. So, if you're feeling sick, stay home. If you're comfortable wearing a mask, wear a mask. But we don't have any special recommendations other than what's up there currently.
Right. So you don't recommend we lower it to 75?
No, I mean, not for COVID reasons.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Scott, do you know why, or Mr. Moderator, would be able to, any clarity on why we should lower it from the 150 to 75?
My request for you to lower it from 150 to 75 is because otherwise we probably won't get a quorum.
What has attendance been?
We would be happy if
last year?
150 people come. We'd be happy if 700 people come.
That's kind of a bad precedent to set, that if we just keep lowering it just because people won't show up. If that's the case, then maybe we need to have a discussion with the Charter Review Committee, whether or not maybe instead of going
It's
from...
actually in the bylaw.
No, a bylaw, rather going from a open meeting to an elected town meeting members. I'm just saying that because if
Well,
this
or
is...
you could lower the quorum. We could do an article to lower the quorum.
We are a municipality of 11,000 registered voters. I mean, I think it would be important for Abington that we don't lower the quorum.
We hear from the moderator on how many have been at the last couple.
Sean Riley, 271 Dorsey Street, Town Moderator. I don't have the exact numbers, Kevin, but I don't believe we hit 150 in the last 2 or 3 years.
No, we haven't.
I mean, part of it obviously was because of COVID. There were some people who did not want to be in a crowd. Anecdotally, I can tell, I'm a member of the Mass Moderators Association, and there are almost half the towns in the state. I don't want to, I shouldn't even say, I'm not sure what the total number is, but a lot of towns have dropped the quorum to 0. And they have found that to be a positive effect, because people know 2 things. Your meeting's going to start on time. I can't tell you how many times we've sat in an auditorium and waited 20, 30,
And
40
made phone
minutes.
calls.
Yeah, to get 150 people there. It used to be a higher number, we had to lower it to 250. And so now people, is Whitman 0?
Specials.
Yeah, they, so people who have, the towns who have the 0 quorum are seeing people arrive on time because they know the meeting's gonna start as advertised at 7 o'clock. Some people come because they don't want a small group to make decisions, so it ends up getting more people to come to the meeting. So it kind of works in your favor when you lower the quorum to 0. The proposal tonight, through the town manager, was for 75, which is what you've done in the last 2 years or so.
Yeah,
In order to change it permanently, someone, either a board or citizens, would have to file a warrant article to change the town bylaw to change the quorum from 150 to 75 or 0. In my mind, reducing the quorum to 0 or 50 or 75 is almost the same thing, because for the amount of people who are required to be there, when you look at Finance Committee, Selectmen, Planning Board, School Committee, all those committees, you're already getting a core of at least 50 people that have to be at the meeting. I just want to
And to be perfectly clear, this doesn't stop anyone from entering.
Right, whatever your quorum is, we could have 400 people. We have seating for 700 people in
Right.
the auditorium, and I would love to have more the merrier. I haven't seen the draft warrants. I don't know some of the things that are there. We used to, 10, 15, 20 years ago, routinely have a Springtown meeting and a fall special town
Right.
meeting. We haven't done that in a while. It's not my decision. It depends on what the needs of the town are. So you guys decide the quorum and the date. I just will run the meeting as you direct, and, but I have no objection to lowering it. I do fear, I guess Scott said, if we have 150 as a quorum, I don't
We're
think
not
that-
going to get it.
No, I don't think you'll get people to appear.
what was it lowered to before? Was it 75, was it 100?
100, I thought.
75 last time.
For the last,
The last two?
yeah, last
Oh, we
2
did
or
100.
3 have been 75.
25.
Honestly, I'm all for lowering it to 0, because I think you make some good points, but I'm just, I would like to do it through a bylaw change, and it's just more using COVID as an excuse just because we're not gonna get enough people, just,
Well,
it's
the warrant's open, right?
kind of awesome. Yeah, the warrant's open, and I mean, I wouldn't necessarily vote against a bill that changed it to 0, but.
And I don't know that anyone's really
No
saying
one shows
COVID's an
up, we have
excuse. I think COVID,
Get people there.
I don't think that anyone's saying that COVID's an excuse, but the current legislation gives you the right to do it now
Right.
if you wanted to.
For that reason.
And that expires a few months from now.
Could we do an outside
Until they
town
extend
meeting?
it again.
Yeah, or until the town decides to change the bylaw.
In my mind, the reasoning behind it, because unless we have some really interesting citizen petitions come in, this is largely just moving some money around. It's not likely to draw 150 people. There's nothing, unless, they're all interested in putting the conservation land into conservation. But this there's not, even the money that we are moving around is not large sums of money. Now, that being said, we have until September 12th for citizen petitions to come in, so
So you don't think 150 people will show up?
I do not.
That's your opinion?
It is my opinion.
Well, I think that also depends on how much we advocate for people showing up to participate in their local government. As I said before,
We
11,000.
advocate every town meeting.
I do agree with Alex. I think we need to I mean, I'll be happy when COVID's past us and we can put this, lowering number to bed for good. But is this still under the governor's order?
This is still.
When does that
under,
expire?
March
March, I believe.
March 31st.
Was it extended? Is that what it was?
Yeah, they just extended
Statewide.
it.
There was, several years ago, there was a proposal at town meeting to lower it to 75, and I think it lost by 6 votes. It was less than 10 votes. So it has been something that's been continually discussed, but as a moderator, I try not to take a stand on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Any further discussion?
I just think it's a bad precedent to set. I mean, we're trying to come out of COVID-19. I mean, I know, understand, we still have cases, we still have people who are getting sick
But you're
and
in
dying.
favor of a representative type of town meeting? When you are going to have 10 people decide?
Well, but the approach what we have right now is like, oh, we're not going to get anybody. So why don't we have, and that's a poor thing to set for the town. Or we could, if that's the case, that we just don't think people are going to show up, then that's where maybe we should have the discussion about bylaws, changing it to an appointed or elected person to be a town, to represent the town at town meeting, because we can't get people. I think that's, I don't want that route. I want residents to come to our town meetings.
Well, dropping it to 75, like we said, isn't stopping anyone from going. It's just so we can get the business done that we need to get done.
Yeah, but we're a municipality of 17,000 people, 12,000,
That's right.
11,000 voters, and 75 people are going to determine everything?
Well, then other people should come out. if
Well,
they're
that's why we
interested.
got to keep pushing and pushing that people come to the town meeting, participate.
I'll make a
It's
motion.
the best form of,
I'll make a motion to vote to reduce the quorum required by the general bylaw, section 152-4, of 150 persons for special town meetings to 75 persons for the September 27, 2022 special town meeting, as allowed by
This board.
this board.
Allowed by period. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. All opposed?
No.
Aye.
Okay. Doesn't carry.
Can I ask also, you don't have to answer this tonight, I'd like some guidance from the selectmen before the 27th, that if we don't get our quorum of 150, would the decision be made to just adjourn town meeting, forget about it, we'll wait till the spring, or would you want to try for a second night? Because if we do want to do that, we have to reserve the auditorium and there's other procedures.
Could do an outside town meeting.
Do you really want to
Just
do that,
saying, I
don't
really
you,
want to do an
Kevin?
You go to
outside town meeting.
75, I'll have it outside.
Are you trying to bribe the board now?
75, you can have it outside.
I didn't say that.
You can open the snack shack.
Yeah, well, we will let you know on the 12th what we think of that, and we can think about that if we want to continue it, if we don't get a quorum the first night, okay? All right, town managers report.
Just what I handed out, not a lot, mostly just giving you some important dates. Tuesday, September 27th. As of your vote tonight, the warrant is open. Hope to close it on the 12th. Mostly it's going to be housekeeping, supplementing the building department budget. We want to put something into, for account consolidation. Every department sort of has their own line item for heat and postage and gas. So what we'd like to do is just have one town account for that. But that's a discussion for another night. We hope to have the bargaining contracts for police and DPW retro to July 1 on that special town meeting, and then placing certain parcels of land, as we discussed earlier, under conservation restrictions. Also keep in mind, if we're going to go by the bylaw and the charter, the annual town meeting will be Monday, April 3rd, 2023, 7 p.m. at the high school auditorium. We'd anticipate opening the annual town meeting warrant sometime in December and close it sometime in February, shooting for the 12th of December and the 27th of February. We'll have the first draft of the FY24 operating budget to the Selectmen and the Finance Committee in December. I'm thinking your meeting on the 12th. The Finance Committee will then start meeting with department heads that following Wednesday. And then some things they, also, we had sort of touched on the new legislation on the host community agreements. There are going to be quite a few changes to them. KP Law is looking over it now, and they're going to put out a advisory on that, and as soon as I get that, I'll get it to this group, and we can all take a look at it, but certain things, like I said, that will, you know, the additional 3% fee will most likely not be allowed in the same structure that it's in now. The ability to have requirements in there for them to give money to local charities, we won't be able to require that anymore. And we'll have to track any of the associated expenses that we feel as though that any mitigation fees are going towards, like legal fees or anything to that effect. Good news was, when the final budget came out, the unrestricted government aid was increased by approximately $50,000. We did get notice from South Shore Tech. They reduced their assessment, and Abington received a rebate for $11,822. We did receive an earmark that did seem to make it through this budget for $100,000 we can use to study alternative water solutions. We want to put it towards the feasibility of whether Aquarium or MWRA makes any sense to help us when we have these severe conditions. We did receive the additional earmark for $25,000 to finish the upgrade of the senior center generator. I had a meeting today with the Collins Center and received the final draft of the capital improvement plan. I have a department head meeting on Wednesday where I'm going to sort of pass out some of the items in there, and I'll probably give you guys an overview and get you copies of that for the meeting on September 12th. Additionally, Charter Review has sent an email out. They have asked for some clarification on some of the items that the board sent them for review. So I think it's in your packet. If not,
It
I'll
is.
get it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, probably want to review those items and be ready for a discussion on September 12th on those items, and you can make some sort of response to Charter Review.
And there is an opening on Charter Review. You want to announce, has that been posted?
I don't know if it's been posted yet.
I don't know that we posted it yet, but thank you for bringing that up, because I wanted to bring one other opening up. There is one opening for Charter Review. I want to thank Lisa Bezanson, who served on that rather faithfully, put a lot of work into it, but she has other things that she needs to attend to in her busy life, so there's an opening on the Charter Review Committee. If you're interested in serving on that committee, if you could contact either myself, Sean Riley, as town moderator, or any of the selectmen or the town manager. Also, we will soon be having a vacancy on the Finance Committee. I want to thank Mr. Russ Fuller, who was just received what he called his dream job, so he's going to be a lot busier than he thought. So that anyone who's interested in joining the Abington Finance Committee, again, please contact myself, Sean Riley, the town manager, any selectmen. We'll try to put your name on the list for review.
And just so everyone knows, it's the moderator that appoints both those positions, not the Board of Selectmen. But do reach out to us if you would like to serve, and we'll pass your information along.
And we'll get it up on the website tomorrow.
Those are the only two things I do.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Anything else? I want to reach out to one of our viewers who always watches our meetings, Peggy Keating, who is a long time Abington resident. And I saw her this morning, and she said, "You guys are going to be there till midnight."
If that's what it takes.
So if no one seconds my motion, we might be.
Well, I have a question. We'll save midnight for special town meeting.
All right. She didn't actually use those words. She just thought we had a lot on our plate tonight. But thank you for watching. There is a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
I oppose.